Welcome to Trailhead Boise. We're located in the heart of downtown Boise. My name is Jacob. I'm our Director of Operations. Let me show you our co-working space. Our co-working memberships are designed to be affordable and accessible to any price point, and we offer two main types of memberships. What you're seeing behind me is our hot desk membership. This is your standard co-working setup. All of our desks are seat stand adjustable. They come with a monitor and an HDMI hookup. You come in, you find an open desk, and you get to work. If you're looking for a little bit more of a dedicated experience in a co-working space, we offer a dedicated desk membership. This provides you 24/7 access to Trailhead, a desk that's reserved for your exclusive use, and the ability to leave equipment, decorate the desk how you please, make it your own. Both of these membership levels come with access to reserve our meeting rooms. We've got a private meeting room, which is great for confidential calls, two group meeting rooms, which are conference style, great for collaboration, and then we've got two phone booths, which are great for quick calls on the go. Co-working is really just the beginning. We have a full suite of programs like Boise Pitch Night, You Lead Idaho, Boise Entrepreneur Week, Idea Set Go, and many more, which you can find on our website, tailored to help you at any step of your entrepreneurial journey. Whether you're at the very first stages, trying to take an idea from a napkin and turn it into a business, or you're pitching for your first investments, all the way to raising your Series A rounds. We have a full suite of tailored programs to help you learn the skills you need to be successful and connect you to the people in our resources who can help take your business to the next level. So whether you're an entrepreneur looking to start or grow your business, or a remote worker looking to switch up the home office and find community, we're probably a great fit for you. Check us out next time you're in downtown Boise. Good morning. Thanks for tuning in to BEW Live. We're here day 3 of Boise Entrepreneur Week. My name is Jacob Grinwis. I'm Boise Entrepreneur Week's co-chair and director of operations at Trailhead. I'm joined today by my fellow co-chair, Tiam Rastegar, CEO and executive director at Trailhead. Thanks for being here.
Yeah.
How you feeling coming out of the founders dinner, day 2? We had the trail mix pitch competition finals last night.
Tired and pumped. If that's a possibility, you can be both.
It is.
Tired because this is obviously our climax day, meaning there was quite the lead up to today. Founder dinner went really well, well attended. The weather played along, so that was nice. But yeah, ready to really dive into today. I know we have 4 tracks that we're featuring.
It's going to be a busy one. Yeah.
We have a pitch competition. There's a showcase. There's a block party. How are you holding up?
Holding up pretty well.
Okay.
I was just saying I've got my BEW bags going. But I mean, at the same time, it comes like Boise Entrepreneur Week, for those who have been here in person, know that it's so fast paced. And with the fatigue, there's a lot of excitement and fulfillment as well. So yeah, today is going to be a jam-packed day. We've got the Grow track, focusing on growth stage, post-launch startup strategies. We have the merger and acquisition track, which is a new track at Boise Entrepreneur Week.
I'm really excited for that one.
Yeah, it's a conversation we've done in years past. We've piloted the idea, and the sessions were always really well attended. And the theme of today is later stage. Today's content is focused on the later stage startup. Folks who are looking to prepare for their exits, create meaningful connections with other organizations they can partner with to scale as they grow. Capital and financing and investment is a huge theme of today's segments. So you're in for a treat. You're going to see a little bit of that laced all throughout BEW Live's stream today. This afternoon, if you're tuning in to BEW Live, make sure you get down here to jump. We have a really action-packed afternoon with the Capital track, one of the most anticipated and highest attended tracks. We've got our friends with the RMVCA that we've mentioned in previous days on BEW Live. They're going to be speaking on panels. They're going to be sharing their updates on what the current state of today's capital market looks like and how founders can prepare for it.
So on that later stage themed note, if you're a founder and you're raising or you're preparing to raise, today would be a great day to come down here and network with the investors from RMVCA.
Maybe the only day in Idaho we have 40 plus partners from venture capital firms across the Mountain West in the state.
And then we cap off the day with, in terms of the track content, with the Corporate Innovation Track, and that's led by Angela Thomas with Power Engineers.
Yeah, that's going to be a really fun track. We've got 3 sessions lined up, and the Corporate Innovation Track is all about how corporations, more established companies, can adopt the entrepreneurial mindset and embrace what they call introvation. Correct?
Mm-hmm.
Is that the term?
Yeah.
Introvation.
How to go about disrupting themselves before someone else disrupts them.
Yeah, when you grow and you become that massive, it's easy to fall in. It's like a river. It carves out the path of least resistance. So the entrepreneurial mindset can really be a game changer for a lot of late stage companies.
And this year, if I'm not, sorry to cut you off, but I think one of our very own, Micron Technology, is leaning into the Corporate Innovation Track, so that's a huge win.
We have a really awesome session. It's happening at 3 p.m. here at Jump. We're not live streaming this one, so you got to get down here in person to see this. But we have conversations with C-suite level executives from Micron, from Simplot, from St. Luke's, and from Boise Cascade. So we're going to hear from leaders of those companies, some of the biggest companies in Idaho.
Idaho's Big Four.
Yeah. Yep, talking about what they're doing with their workforces to prepare them for this wave of technology advancement. What are they doing to make sure their teams are equipped with the skills and the tools they need to be successful? What are they thinking from that C-suite level perspective on where they're going to take their company's future staffing? What's going to happen in the future of Idaho's big business landscape?
What an opportunity to bridge the gap between early stage and later stage startups and the established business community. So the Microns, the Simplots, the Boise Cascades can learn and dip into the energy and the innovation of these younger startups, if you will, and vice versa. They will then get access to the big corporates. And so, I mean, in essence, that sort of ties a bow around Boise Entrepreneur Week as bridging the gap between those two. So once we're through the content part, we have quite the afternoon in terms of a showcase, the pitch competition, and a block party. I'll speak to the showcase.
Yeah, tell us about the showcase.
Yeah, I'll tell you a little bit about it. So, formerly known as 52 the A, the program that was launched by the Idaho Technology Council. Trailhead was fortunate enough to inherit that program from the ITC. And we have renamed it, rebranded to the Idaho Capital Collective. And in essence, what we do in the collective is we host one founder a month who gets to pitch their company to this Nexus team. That's part of the Idaho Capital Collective. And these founders are raising. They're actively raising. They're typically in the seed stage. Most of them are on path to their A round. And with the Idaho Capital Collective showcase today, we will see on stage Pestchair, who recently raised an A round.
Peak 43's fastest growing company.
No way.
Yes.
I did not know that.
Breaking news. No, just kidding. It was announced last night.
Oh, that is so cool.
Pestchair won the number 1 spot for Idaho's fastest growing company.
So a startup took the number 1 spot at Peak 43. That is amazing. We will also have Aaron Klein from Contio. I just met Aaron a couple of weeks ago at the Seed to Growth conference up in Sun Valley. Serial founder, moved to Boise from California, is building a really cool AI startup. Killing boring meetings is, I think, his tagline.
That's a good mission.
And in addition, we'll also hear from Derek Baird. He's the founder of Switchboard. And if you were perusing social media, there's been an announcement that they recently acquired a company.
Oh, wow.
So startups also acquire other companies in growth modes, and I'm really excited to hear from it. And lastly, Allison Johnson from Wilson Sonsini will be moderating the showcase.
Oh, that's going to be awesome.
And once the showcase is done, I want to capture the energy of that room and the folks in that room and go right into the happy hour to then attend our big firework finale with the pitch competition. Anything about the pitch competition that people should know?
Yeah, it's going to be packed, so get here early. We have a Women of Power happy hour to kick off the pitch competition. So we'll have drinks, we'll have a couple speakers, we'll have some good networking, and we'll really just build up the energy right into the pitch competition. I'm excited. I honestly, some years with Boise Entrepreneur Week, we have 1 or 2 front runners. And this year, I think it's anyone's game. We've got 6 finalists, all building really innovative products, many of which are focused on AI. I think it's anybody's game. So I'm really eager to see how things shake out. Who takes home that $50,000 check?
On that note, here's a call to action for the audience and the people who are going to come attend. Those of us who produce BEW, we know that Mark Doubleday tends to have luck in predicting the winners.
Yes.
And so we have this informal bet going on after we see the pitches, and Mark tends to win. And he's behind the camera. You can't see him. I am very motivated to dethrone him this year. And so if you're coming to attend a pitch competition, take notes. Start a little bet. Tell us who you think is going to win the pitch competition. 5 finalists or 7? What do we land on?
6 finalists.
6 finalists.
Yep, 6 finalists.
And they're going to join BEW Live as well, is that right? So the audience can hear directly from the finalists. Is that before the competition?
It sure is. Yeah, right around 11, we'll have all 6 of our BEW Live finalists join right here on BEW Live. We'll get to have a quick conversation with each of them, listen to what they're building, get to know the founders before they get on stage and pitch for the 50K.
So for those of you who are going to enter this betting scheme that I just came up with, getting a preview might inform your decision. So you want to tune into BEW Live and listen in. All that said, we will then climax into the block party, and that will take place here at the amphitheater Jump. I think the weather is playing along. We'll have a DJ, we'll have food, we'll award the checks.
DJ
Yeah, CDG.
And we'll move straight from the pitch competition. For those of you who have been to Jump, you'll know that there's a giant stainless steel slide right out the door. We'll be moving from the pitch competition down to the block party in Jump's amphitheater in style by going down the slide.
So we're sliding to the block party.
We're sliding into the block party. So should be a great time today at Boise Entrepreneur Week. If you can get down to Jump, I highly encourage you to. Like I said, maybe the only day this year in Idaho we have 40+ partners at venture capital firms from across the western side of the United States here that you get to listen to and network with. We've got founders who are raising their seed to Series A rounds pitching in the Idaho Capital Collective Showcase. We've got 6 really innovative, cutting-edge startups pitching for 50K in our finals. And outside of that, we have 4 tracks producing really insightful and engaging content. So if you can get to Boise Entrepreneur Week at Jump, grab a free ticket on our website, boiseentrepreneur.week.org. Anything else you want to leave the audience with?
Yeah, I think one plug, at least one, for our platinum sponsor, Zions Bank. I know that they're sending one of their chief economists to join BEW Live today. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. I believe that's our final segment on today's live stream. We're super lucky to have Zion's senior economist, Robert Spendlove. He's going to be joining Sean Keithley, the Director of Economic Development for the city of Boise. They're going to sit down and they're going to tell you what the future state of our economy is looking like. The macro and micro perspective, talking about what the tariff landscape looks like and how startups can navigate it, what we can expect as a city and as a country. It's going to be a really good conversation. That's also one that's happening around noon or around 11 in the Jump Room if you're here in person. But if not, you'll get a sneak peek of it right here on BEW Live.
I think that wraps it up.
I think that wraps it up too. Thank you so much for watching BEW Live. Hope you can make it down to Jump and take part in all the festivities. Otherwise, we'll be back. Here's a message from our sponsors.
Zions Bank is proud to support Boise Entrepreneur Week and the hardworking individuals who are pursuing their dreams of business ownership. As a market leader in small business lending, Zions Bank supports Idaho entrepreneurs as you create jobs and fuel our economy. Our experienced and dedicated team of Zions bankers is ready to help with your business banking, cash management, and personal banking needs. From Idaho's capital city to the rolling hills of the Palouse, and from the heart of the Magic Valley to our beloved resort towns, Zions Bank is invested in our communities because our communities are invested in Zions Bank.
My name is Sharon Popple, and I'm the CEO of Executive Allies. So when most people think about accountants, they're thinking about the pocket protectors, the green visors. We keep our green visors hidden. We like to wear fun socks instead. And what that means is we like to bring a little bit of levity to the conversations that can be tougher, and to make sure that we're seeing the owners and the people that we work with as human. I would say one of the benefits of bringing on a company like Executive Allies that acts as a fractional accounting department is that we have a whole team that has a range of experience. We've got bookkeepers, we've got staff level accountants, we have controllers, and we have CFOs. The majority of time when people reach out to us, they're not coming to us with clean books. And they're not alone. You're not alone in your messy accounting, and you're not alone in not understanding how things should look. That's where we come in. And so when you hire a team like ours, we have not only the experience of an individual on our team, but also the entire team's knowledge of working with over 40 companies over the last year. We've seen tech stacks that work for different types of industries. And so we have a really broad range of skill set that can come and serve turnkey into any business. Whether you're a startup business or an established business that's been around for years, we're here to help.
Well, I think it's important for an entrepreneur to establish a relationship with a law firm early, because the more we understand about what your business is and what your challenges are, the better I can advise you. Our attorneys live, work, and play here in Idaho. We understand what is going on in our clients' lives beyond their legal needs, so that gives us an advantage in that we understand Idahoans and folks in the Mountain West.
Because of the relationship I built with Parsons, I know that when I have pressing legal matters, I can get a timely response from my attorney, which allows me to make good business decisions.
Part of what sets us apart too is our ability to be flexible and grow with the clients. As the clients grow, we can handle small matters, your initial matters, and then as you get bigger, we have the staff right here to handle your complex and big matters.
Whether you're a startup or an entrepreneur or an established business, Parsons has the breadth of experience to handle whatever your legal needs might be.
I truly believe in abundance. There's enough for everyone plus extra. Everyone can win. At Alturas, we just believe that we can all win together. And we've done that internally, and we also believe externally. And collaboration and partnership is how we get there. Boise Entrepreneur Week, it's a representation, it's a manifestation of who we are as a community. It takes a lot of people doing their part, and we do our part. There's a lot of amazing things that have happened here, and we want to be a part of telling the story going forward and participating and supporting and building and doing our part. Having this whole ecosystem of companies, it's fun, it's unique, but it's also really helpful that we are there to learn things as we go and share our learnings with each other and commiserate when it's hard and dig in and help each other and get in the trenches when it's really tough, but also sharing the successes and sharing the great things that we're learning along the way. The long-term vision is that these experiments that we're trying today, we can actually learn something from them, and that they can keep compounding in size and scope and impact and opportunity.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to BEW Live. My name is Ken Brook, and I'm the founder of AdPrompt and AdChain, which we'll get into a little bit here. And with me, I have Jake Dempsey. So Jake, maybe introduce yourself, because I've been on this before.
Yeah, so I'm actually recently playing over at AdPrompt with Ken. I've got a background as a general contractor and in technology. I just left a company that I helped build recently that is a CRM and customer management system for contractors, and so came over to play in this neighborhood.
So a CRM for contractors. Maybe what kind of contractors, just to let people know?
So yeah, the contractors that we were working with are specifically like home services type contractors. So not your typical general contractor that does houses from the ground up, but more specialty trades and things like that. HVAC, electrical, plumbing, those types of things, roofing, typical things you would call a single contractor for.
Those types of trades are making a comeback, it seems.
There's a lot of need and a lot of value in those trades at this point. I mean, I think they got glossed over for a long time as kind of not as important, but as technology starts to advance into the AI world and people have flocked to it, those skills that tradesmen have, to work with their hands, those are really important skills that are slowly being lost, and so there's a lot more value in them.
Yeah, it's really interesting with the new technology, and as the last couple of years have been dominated here at Boise Entrepreneur Week, AI has been a dominating topic. Many panels. This year's no different. It doesn't seem to be slowing down at all. But it's interesting that the pinnacle of success for a technologist in their career would be like to join a software company, right? Now it's like, the running joke a couple years ago was everyone should learn how to code. Well, everyone was focusing on computer science and computer programming, but now artificial intelligence seems to be taking those opportunities away. And now people are talking about going back to trade school or going to trade school instead of pursuing that path with like a technology startup.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely even, so I'm on our local school board, and just the rumblings that I hear, with kids' friends, because I've got some kids in school as well, is there's a lot more talk of, like business ownership and as opposed to just trying to find some niche where they're, have a specialty that they can really, kill it in the marketplace to make a lot of money. I think that the advent of AI has really pushed people to an entrepreneurship mindset where they're leaving that traditional, like, I can go work for like a big tech company, to either utilizing the newer tech to try and find a niche, or that they're just gonna figure out how that augments what they're going to do, trades.
I think it is a great time to be an entrepreneur. The tools that we have available, they're affordable, they're easy to access, and they're so powerful that you can, like you say, you can augment yourself as an entrepreneur and quickly test your hypothesis. If you have an idea, you think it's a good one, well, like, how do you test a good idea? And I think that rapid prototyping, utilizing these tools, is a great way for aspiring entrepreneurs to be like, okay, is this idea worth pursuing? Yeah. And my suggestion to any aspiring entrepreneur would be to make sure that whatever it is you're ideating on or wanting to build, it needs to be sufficiently complex to the point of AI not being able to do it itself. Yeah. And that's a challenge.
I think the other aspect of it is that there's this brave new world for people to go into, and so it's a little bit of it is the Wild West, right? And so the cool thing about AI for a lot of people and this new breed of entrepreneur that are going to start coming up is it demystifies a lot of the things that seemed very complex. People felt like you needed to have some sort of a master's degree in order to function in a technical marketplace, and AI is kind of levels the field a little bit. Yep. And that's a powerful tool. It's a scary tool for a lot of people, which is, also part of the problem is not only is it powerful, but it's also intimidating. And so I think that it's going to push the demand for itself in the marketplace and it's also going to force a lot of change. I think that people are really going to want to focus more on the psychology of mindset and how important it is to have kind of this growth and open-mindedness in their mindset so that they can absorb what's coming because it's here, like it or not. And so it's either this really scary thing or it's one of the most useful, cool things that you can find.
Yeah, many people say, oh, AI is going to take my job, but it's going to be people using AI that will take jobs if you're not actively learning about these tools and implementing them, for your business.
Yeah.
So given your background, 15 years helping contracted types of businesses, home services, roofing, plumbing, electrical, how do you see this shift to utilizing AI tools? How has that changed those types of businesses? Because, being here in Boise, Idaho, we see HVAC companies everywhere. Those are a major part of our economy, our local economy here. And so for local businesses that are in these types of fields, servicing the homes that are growing here quite a bit, how are they looking at AI? How are they shifting with this transition?
I'm seeing a lot of it just as a homeowner, right? Is different interactions that I'm having. As I've been here for a while, and as I'm having this experience as a resident, as a homeowner, and I start to need to interact with different contractors, different people in the home services market. I'm watching them slowly adopt and kind of turn over from where they were. One of the reasons I came over and was so interested with AdPrompt is understanding the typical mindset of a contractor, because I have been one myself, is just, we work so hard. We don't have a lot of time to do stuff. We understand business, but what we understand is how to create, how to build, and how to work. But sometimes it's a little scary trying to figure out the other pieces that we're not connected directly to. The marketing, which is what we're working on, and a lot of those other pieces that are connected there. Software being one of them. A lot of people working on paper or from Excel spreadsheets and understanding that there's systems and processes in place to make them more efficient. Well, once you get running on a system and a process that makes you more efficient, what that allows you to do is shove more leads into the funnel, and that's kind of no man's land. That's where it's a little bit scary. I think everybody can resonate with going on their local Facebook page and seeing 842 people that will clean their ducts that are supposed to be in their city of 600, right? I mean, that's what we're running into, and so that's scary. How do I compete with that as a contractor? Well, do I go to a traditional marketing company
to be discoverable in the local market?
Right. And how do I get to the people locally? How do I solve the problem of localization and getting the customers that I want and the quality of customers that I want? Like, how do I know that my money is well spent in those advertising spaces? And right now, it's just kind of this nebulous thing that's out there, and you throw money at it, and you don't know why you need to. You just know that you want results. Everybody kind of understands branding, but what do we want out of it? How do we get it out of it? And so we turn that over to a lot of different sources. Sometimes it's our teenager. Other times it's we pay a lot of money to a marketing company that may be awesome, and sometimes it may not be. And the experience is varied, and it's hard to connect the value of what we're trying to invest locally to the results we're getting at the end of the day. When I have to sign paychecks, I need to be able to make sure that overhead is allocated to the right places to continue building my company and making it successful.
And what you just said there, that's ubiquitous across all types of businesses. But for this specific type of business, which is typically found, again, it has to be a local market because they're providing home services. And so that in its nature is somewhat unique, and it's prevalent across a lot of rural areas in the country. And this is really, these are entrepreneurs, right? These are small businesses. These are going to be driving the economy. And so if this is like 95% of the businesses, if they're starting to employ, other people, create jobs, like that's what all the politicians seem to be talking about, like small business this, small business that. But it feels like, from my perspective, being in technology for the last 15 years, they've been marginalized and neglected in the sense that a lot of the powerful advertising and marketing tools have not been really built with that type of business in mind. And now those issues have been exacerbated by AI. And so there is an opportunity for these types of home service businesses to really benefit from these tools. I hope that they are willing to learn more about the technology and be willing to use tools to help with their business, because it can just help them, grow. And going back to being discoverable, how do you compete when there's other types of, competing businesses in your market? Well, to your point, you work with someone that understands how to build a website, or you might work with the social media marketing team, right? But that's expensive, and it takes time. And so one of the main byproducts of utilizing AI is saving time and money. It's just the use case, the application, how do you apply this technology? And so having worked with you for the past couple of months, you've brought just tremendous experience in this niche, this vertical of home service businesses. And we're excited to be able to continue to build these types of tools for those types of businesses to help them grow.
Yeah.
Because with the advertising, when we can connect advertising demand and dollars spent in a local market to a local, true locally owned, homegrown business and help them grow versus waste money in Meta, then that's a win for everyone. And if we can keep all of that money in the community, that's only going to help the community.
Absolutely. They say that if you build a better mousetrap, they'll beat a path to your door, right? But not if they don't know where your door is. And I think that's the struggle. Like, we have a lot of people. I mean, the success rate of any given business as you build a business is not really high. I mean, over multiple years, you only have about a 20-25% success rate on average. And I don't think it's because it's a bad idea. I think a lot of times it's because people are just overwhelmed with their day-to-day.
Yeah.
They've got to get up early. They've got to manage their books. They got to do all of those things. And so the one thing that they need is that path to their doorway, and marketing is that. And so with Ad Prompt, the exciting thing is that it makes it accessible. And as we continue to develop it from the standpoint of your typical, well, maybe not typical, but your average entrepreneur, the accessibility will really increase the rates of our chances of success. I mean, nothing's guaranteed, but certainly when you're an entrepreneur, you have a great idea, you have a lot of drive, but that drive really takes you to a place where you're just like pumping as fast as you can go, and you're exhausted. And we only have 24 hours in a day, and most entrepreneurs are working 26 of those. And so trying to find a way to capture a piece of that day where you can do those things, you need to demystify that process. And you're also expending a lot of your own capital to run a business. So like the value is in utilizing the right tools that will give you the best bang for your buck.
Yeah.
And that means also being able to target your local area, to be able to find the people you're looking for, and have a system that can make educated decisions for you and give you the feedback.
Yeah, the feedback is critical. If you have a limited budget for marketing to grow your business, you spend $100, but that $100 gets you, $6,000 in business, and you can have confidence in that attribution where I spend $100 and I make this. That's closing in advertising. That's the golden. You close the loop for the advertiser by giving attribution, and that's what we're excited to give to these small businesses. Is we can protect your small budget. We can ensure that you get what you pay for, and that what you pay for is going to help you grow your business, and it's going to be easy.
Yeah, ROI is king in that case.
Yeah. Well, Thank you for sharing with us your perspective. It's been, again, a pleasure to work with you for the last couple of months, and I'm looking forward to continuing to work with you.
Yeah, it's fun, and this is such a great event to help share some of that knowledge with, with the people that are interested with that. It's a pleasure to take part in it.
Yeah. Well, thanks everyone for watching BEW Live. Continue to watch, and if we see you around the event, then feel free to come up and say hi to myself or Jake, and we'll be happy to chat with you guys. All right, and here's a word from our sponsors.
Scott Matlock, underrated recruit, has built himself into one of the best defensive players in the Mountain West.
What would you do if you couldn't fail? Would you see every setback as a catalyst to keep going? This is the innovator's mindset, because innovation demands daring. It's finding thousands of ways that don't work, and the one that changes everything. It's when your unrelenting spirit sees the world's needs and says, I will create something better. So, what will you do? Will you let your genius run wild? Give yourself the space to be great? Set your sights on something even bigger, because we know changing the world doesn't happen by chance. It comes out of the blue.
I know that the city was really satisfied with how the Central Urban Renewal District was redeveloped, so they cast a wider net to the larger 300-acre River Myrtle district. Train yards and a lot of open fields existed between Front and Myrtle Streets. So the plan was put in place to bring more development, to bring more attraction to the city of Boise. Hey, one of the best things about working at CCDC is that we have the ability to convene, because we've been able to work together and collaborate with agencies, with private sector folks. We're able to complete projects that otherwise wouldn't happen. We've been on a real burner in the last decade. The timing was perfect for this district. Has been a big success for everyone who worked together to make it happen.
We've heard it all. They've doubted us, second-guessed us, overlooked us. But in the face of impossible, we stand defiant. Not denying reality, daring to change it. When we hear no way, we say, watch us. The world is full of people who tell us we can't. It's a good thing we enjoy proving we can. Whether you aim to lead, build, innovate, or heal, your journey forward starts with the courage to claim it. To every maverick within our ranks, consider this your acceptance letter. College of Western Idaho. Let's get started.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Boise Entrepreneur Week Live. My name is Jacob Grinwis, I'm our co-chair. We're really looking forward to interviewing the 6 finalists in this next live stream segment. And with that said, let's bring on our first 2 pitch competition finalists. Get on in here, get on in the studio, grab a seat. We've got this lovely Boise Entrepreneur Week mic. Shout out to Sean on the media team, our audio tech. Welcome, thanks for coming on this morning.
Thanks, Jacob, it's great to be here.
Yeah, thank you for being here. It's great to have you. Allie, Ann, tell us a little bit about who you are and what you're building and pitching in tonight's competition.
Yeah, of course. So my name is Ann Maxon. I'm a pharmacist by training. And as such, I've kind of come to see all of those communication breakdowns that happen between patients and providers, as well as a lack of ongoing support for patients while they're taking medications. And so I developed a company called Effective, which provides text-based support for patients through medication check-ins that helps them know what they need to do with their medications, as well as helps their providers know how to better take care of them.
And I remember from a previous pitch, so the goal of Effective is to improve adherence. You're prescribed a medication, it's especially if you're prescribed multiple medications, it becomes complex and difficult to manage how much to take, when to take them, all of that stuff. Your platform helps streamline and make that process more efficient.
Yes, it helps make that more efficient, and it helps patients really kind of dig in and get discrete data about what's going on. So sometimes, especially with certain types of medications like antidepressants, the side effects hit first and the efficacy hits later. And so this is something that will kind of help them keep track of what's really going on and be able to see when that efficacy kicks in. So they're able to look back a little bit and be like, okay, things are getting better and the side effects are getting less.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Allie, tell us a little bit about what you're building. What's your background?
I'm a physicist by training.
A pharmacist and a physicist.
That's right.
And Allie, I see this is a good combo.
Well suited. So I'm the CEO founder of Alaris Tools. We're solving the acute problem of there's not enough skilled tradesmen and technicians in America for heavy industry. So how we solve that problem is we take the tribal and tacit knowledge in foremen's heads, and we're able to scale that so that we can train more green hires to meet the needs of heavy industry here in America and abroad.
And I recall you have a name for those industry veterans, and they are called the...
We call them the Bobs, although more often than not, they are Daryl's or Gary.
Okay, Bob.
And
Daryl's.
It is funny, like, where did all the Garys go? They're retiring. It's a problem. So we have to capture knowledge documentation of the trades, where unlike white collar work, there's not a lot of documentation. And AI doesn't work unless you have the data to train it on. So our specialty is documenting and what we call codifying blue-collar genius. So that's what we do.
Right, and blue-collar genius is often tribal knowledge. It's years of
100%.
experience being in the trenches, working hands-on with the jobs. And your platform is SMS-based, right?
Yes, the main platform we call our sidekick, so we can make our technicians the hero. And I've been doing AI for blue-collar work since I was 23. I'm 40 now. And if you try to build a product and then make them change their workflow, like make them use a desktop or an app when they don't normally, so change behavior, you're going to get really low adoption rates, as in they're just not going to use it. So the current workflow is when a young technician has a question, they either don't ask because they're scared of the boomer. I mean, fair enough. Or
Bobs are scary.
Yeah.
You don't.
I mean, they can
coffee.
be. They can be.
They can also be sweethearts.
Yes, exactly. They're usually both. How
Yeah.
about that? Scary answer. You know,
They're
but
complex. They're
they
layered.
are. Or they will text their foreman, or they will more likely, believe it or not, text a group text. So this is their current workflow. So we stay in that workflow. So we have an SMS version, so they can text us in addition to Gary or Bob. So adoption rates and staying in their workflows is, I think, really key to when your end users are technicians.
Wonderful. So if I'm no PhD physicist, but you've been doing AI for 23 years. That means you've been doing it before AI was a hot topic.
When we called it ML,
Yeah,
machine
ML.
learning. I've just been told I'm an AI. I'm like, that's news to me, but thank you.
That's hilarious. Well, and your background as a pharmacist, we could spend the rest of this segment talking about your backgrounds, but we'll get to hear that in tonight's pitch competition. So I want to pivot a little bit to the pitch competition itself. What has preparing for this been like? And then my second question for each of you is, what would winning mean for your startup?
I think preparing for it has been so cool because it's really made me dig even deeper into my company, which I thought I was in really deep before, but this has really forced me to dig deep from the perspective of getting the sound bites, right? Like being able to fit the information that we want to present within a 6 to 7 minute time frame really makes you think about, okay, what are the most important things here?
It's a huge challenge. That time when you're on stage goes by like that.
Yeah, and so that's been good. And then, I mean, the support that Trailhead provides is just phenomenal in many aspects, but especially with the pitch competition, the opportunity to work with a mentor and be able to connect with them and get the support from them and get their set of eyes on it, which it's always nice to have somebody else look at your business because their perspective will be very different from your own. So that's been nice. As far as the prize money, I mean, it would be transformational for us as a way to help us, especially from the perspective of we're about to start doing a beta test. And we're starting that right now, and being able to hire someone on from a data contractor and someone who understands that data side of things would be very helpful for us.
Winning, what would it mean to us? Well, the $50,000 we'd invest in like a local job, which would be nice. But I think more importantly, I'm newish to town, and I get a lot of grief from my Silicon Valley crowd for like, where is Idaho? So it would be really lovely. You know, it's, you know, when you're building, you have to answer a lot of questions from the coast and investors when you're building outside of the coast. And you really have to go uphill and put a stake in the ground of like, no, I'm basing it here. And it makes sense. We do blue collar work. Idaho is the perfect place for a startup like mine, as opposed to like white collar Palo Alto. But you really do have to kind of, there's a cost, so to speak, to doing a startup out here as opposed to one of the coasts. And it would really just personally mean a great deal to me to have the community behind us and our vision. And there is just something, you can't build a company alone. And so to know the community was behind us and this grand vision we have would mean something to me.
Yeah, I can imagine the process, and I have an econ background, and there's this concept called spillover benefits, why cities move so much more quickly. There's more people, more talent bumping into each other more quickly. Physics. Yeah, exactly. And I can imagine here there's less people to bump into, but when you do bump into the right people, you kind of get pushed into a segment or a corner of the ecosystem where you start bumping into those people a lot more quickly. What's been the difference in your experience building your previous company in the ecosystem that you did versus the kind of support you're seeing in Boise and in Idaho now as you build Alaris?
Well, it's true that I don't bump into VCs like here. I don't bump into angels where I would in a past life. But I do bump into my users. Like my children play on the same sports teams as technicians. And so that's why I think it's such an excellent fit for this town, just particular for Alaris. But yeah, for recruiting, like one of the main jobs as a founder of a fast-growing company is hiring. That's my big thing. And so how do I get world-class talent to move to Boise? I mean, on a beautiful day like this, it's actually not much of a sell.
The beautiful foothills, the river,
The trick
bogus.
is I just have to literally just get them out here on a plane and bring their spouse. And then maybe like show them the local market, because I know we think house prices are high, but compared. So it is, You have to be really committed to like building a startup if you want a unicorn that's outside the coast. But it's been done before. You have Braddock Count, you have Clearwater, you have, it can be done. But I do think it takes the whole community to gather what resources we do have and like really push together. And so far I've had that support in Boise.
Live streamers, do you hear that? It takes the community to show up and support.
Oh, but they're live streamers?
Oh yeah,
Oh, God.
We got lots watching. That I think is a great segue. We're out of time. Allie and Ann, good luck to both of you in the pitch competition. I'm excited to see what you present and how things shake out. Awesome. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Jacob.
Yeah. I can take the mic. All right. That was Ann Maxon and Allie Knight, two founders pitching in tonight's Boise Entrepreneur Week Pitch Competition Finals. Let's bring on our next pair of founders. Get on in the studio. Yes. All right. Jordan Roper, Stephen Pentland, thank you both so much for joining us on BEW Live. Our audience is very interested to learn what you're building and what you're feeling going into tonight's finals. Take a second, introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about your business, and we'll go from there.
Thank you. Like I said, I'm Jordan Roper. I'm a film composer. So I do music for movies, television, commercials, and video games. And my company is Music Masters. So it's a more effective way for kids to be able to get their music education in a more fun and intuitive way. So we're basically trying to create a combination of like Guitar Hero and Fortnite and Mortal Kombat and all these different things like all into one game.
I love it.
Where you're battling with your instruments, but you can do it with an acoustic instrument. So instead of plugging it in, you're doing it on your piano or your flute or your guitar or whatever it might be. That doesn't have to be plugged in, and then it can tell you if you're playing the right notes at the right time and the right pitch.
The microphone on the device picks it all up.
Exactly.
Okay.
And then they'll have their school-issued devices to be able to allow them to do that. So it's not, the cool thing about this is it's a lot less income-based of can we afford this game. It's an app that they can, there's free versions of, and then there's of course like monthly subscriptions to where they can be able to really get a lot more access. And then the other really fun thing about that too is that this is, because it's an educational technology, this can be done in schools all over the world. So this is something that is really going to help educators as well. I've been there when, as an educator in the past, when it was like I don't have the resources or the time to be able to give them what they need, and this would really help them as well. So I'm excited to be here. This has been great.
All right, music education. Now let's turn to higher education. Stephen, tell us a little bit about what you're building.
Yeah, I'm with Rhetoric's Lab. We're about authentic assessment and sort of the age of AI, right? We're trying to balance the use of AI among students. They're going to have to use it in the workforce. But as educators, we need to ensure that they possess the knowledge that they should possess, right? So we do that through structured oral exams that are scalable, very similar to grading as standard written assignments. And if you sort of think back to the history, sort of go back to the days of the Greeks and how knowledge was assessed, it was almost exclusively assessed through oral communication. And we got away from that just because of the scalability problem with education, right? I think AI is sort of taking us back to our rhetorical roots, where it's the human voice is more important now than I think ever, right? And with all we can do with AI, I think a lot of it still comes down to humans, right? And what we have to offer, and really ensuring that people can critically think and all that. So yeah, we're excited to be here. We've had a lot of success with Rhetoric's Lab at Boise State, and we're looking forward to growing the company.
Wow, thanks for telling us a little bit more. I loved that piece of the human voice being our original sort of way to communicate authenticity and thought. I'm forgetting the quote, you just said it. It was like going back to our rhetorical roots. I think that is what sets human intelligence apart from artificial intelligence. So super excited to learn more about that in tonight's pitch competition. So pivoting to tonight's pitch competition, I just want to ask you both what the process of preparing has been like, what things have stuck out to you, what's been the most challenging, Tell us a little bit about your mentor and how working with them has been. And then what would winning tonight's $50,000 do for your business?
Yeah, the cool thing about preparing for this has been obviously multi-leveled. So we've been working on this for a couple of years, and then in preparing for this, it kind of like shored up and clarified, hey, there's certain paths that we can take that we may not have seen before that I was able to see in preparing for this, of different ways to be able to access what we need for things that investors have asked for in the past. And the Piano Guys is a huge consultant that we've been using, and they've given us some advice that in preparing for this, we've been able to realize more things that we can do. And so that's been just really, really helpful, being able to take the slides that we've had in the past and investor pitches that we've had in the past and really just solidify those. And in doing so, again, like I said, it was like, oh man, there's some really cool pathways here that we didn't see before, because it wasn't just me taking a guy out for drinks or for dinner and giving him the pitch for the video game. Totally. It was a whole lot more than that. So
when you have a rubric and a time limit and 10 judges scrutinizing every move and word, you have to think strategically.
Yeah.
Every word counts, and that 6 minutes goes by way quicker than you think it does.
So fast. And then the other thing, that 50,000 would be a huge help, because there's been two things that we've had multiple investors say, especially the Piano Guys, which have been, you got to have the top 100 Billboard songs licensed. Like, until you have those licensed, it's just talk, because that's what kids are going to want. They're going to want Taylor Swift. They're going to want that goofy chicken nugget song on YouTube. Like, they're going to want things that they want.
Yeah.
And it's not just Mozart and Bach. So we want to be able to give that to them. So this will get us the top 100. And then also being able to show verifiable data that kids have been able to improve, that students have utilized this tool and seen improvement over a semester or 2 semesters. This will be able to expand our current MVP to be able to make it to where when the kids get on and play that demo, we'll be able to track and say, here's where they were this semester, here's where they are now. And our current MVP, you can play it and it's fun, and you can be able to show like, hey, this works, this is really neat. But that's what we created it for, is to show we did it. And now they're like, oh, you did it, but we need to be able to show that it actually works and it's actually improving kids' skills and knowledge base in music.
Yeah.
And the 50 would be able to do both of those.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm really loving the overlapping themes here of like the production of the actual learning and like what that outcome is moving through both of your platforms. It's something that's imperfect, progress-driven, and assisted with artificial intelligence and technology. Rather than dictated by it.
Yeah.
I think that's really, really cool.
Yeah,
thank you for sharing. Stephen, I'd love to hear, what's the process of preparing for this pitch competition been like?
It's sort of funny because it's, my day job, I'm a professor at BSU, and I get to stand up and talk for an hour and 15 minutes, right? And so having that format, I've been getting used to that format, and then going to hey, you have 7 minutes to get all this information in, right? And so for me, trying to squeeze everything into that short amount of time is the most challenging part, but it really highlights the importance of very concise, effective communication, right? And the process of taking our pitch deck and really refining it and refining the message and ensuring that we can get it across quickly has been a huge help, I think. There's one thing preparing for the pitch competition, but it also just prepares us to talk to other people about it, right? And to quickly highlight what we're trying to do. And so it's been a huge help, I think, for the growth and the progress of the company.
And what would winning that 50K mean for your business?
It would. We have a proof of concept system that we've gotten into. I think we're at 25 courses at Boise State. We've had, I think, over 1,500 oral assessments with students. So we have a product that's worked well and proves that what we're doing works. But that 50,000 will allow us to go from our 25 courses to 10,000 courses, right? And really build out the application and give it the features that the educators we're speaking to want in the system. And so it really helped us get out and start really engaging with students, engaging with more educators around the country as well as the world.
That's incredible. I cannot wait to hear more about what you're building tonight at the finals. Thank you, Jordan. Thank you, Steven, so much for joining us. And good luck tonight. We'll be rooting for you. Yeah, audience, show up again. Pitch competition starts at 5:30. We've got a happy hour at 5 p.m. right before. Come by and hear how these two are changing education using technology moving forward. All right. Thank you guys so much for joining. All right. Awesome, this has been great. We've got 2 finalists left to interview for this BEW Live segment. These are rapid fire, they're quick, they're speedy. All right. Okay, we're grabbing another chair, sit tight. You know it's really live. All right. I like sit on the coffee table.
Exactly, you're like up on the lap.
I love Drew Barrymore. Oh, guys, welcome. Welcome to BEW Live. Thanks for joining us for your finalist interview. Let's just kick things right off. Tell us a little bit about who you are, and what you're building.
Yeah, I am Oliver MacDonald. I am the co-founder of QTex AI, and we are building an AI co-pilot that enables engineers to build better products faster. We really help electronics engineers, or those who design everything from your watches to pacemakers to the cameras being used in the studio, as electronics are in everything nowadays.
A smartphone.
So what are we looking at?
So this is my smartphone, a Samsung Galaxy S21. Thank you very much. It has like 5 circuit boards in it. There's actually one inside the battery to make sure that it doesn't overcharge and blow up. If anybody remembers, like, I think it was the Note 7, you couldn't fly with those.
Yes.
Yeah, there's a circuit board in there to prevent that from happening. So all of these circuit boards take a lot of time to design, super complex, and it takes a whole... Yeah, and they're very small, and thanks.
So using your, if I understand correctly, using your AI tool, I'd be able to ask this bot to help me find the correct microchip to prevent my battery from exploding, and I could look at a variety of different options. What would that have taken me time-wise to do without your product?
It could easily have taken you like 10 or 20 hours.
Okay.
Now you can do it in like a minute.
Wow. Okay, that's a good value proposition.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Josh, tell us a little bit about what you're building.
Yeah, my name is Josh. I'm the founder of Scout AI, and Scout is a digital service agent for contractors. So our goal is to reduce overhead from sales commissions, training, and field management.
Okay.
Yes.
And you have a background in the construction industry. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah.
And how this ties in. Like, where did the aha moment come from?
Yeah, so I was scaling my service business to around $5 million in revenue over 6 years, and just the bottleneck is turnover for sales teams, training. In our industry, it's about a 50-50 split. So after 10% overhead and profit, the company will split sales commissions with the field agents. So even though our industry does $50 billion in service sales a year, we take home 25% of that. So as overall, Scout is a digital answer to allow contractors to scale and actually have e-commerce happen for them, which is unique because like Amazon, you can sell shoes. Contractors combine manufactured products and their labor as a service. So that's what we're helping them do, is sell service online.
I see. So if I understand correctly, instead of a PDF coming into my inbox and having to look over all of the terms, all of the specs, all of the different line items associated with the deal, I get a nice animated AI agent that enters my inbox and walks me through the sale step by step.
Yeah, exactly. And the cool thing is it's the first visual digital agent. Like, a lot of people understand ChatGPT to be a chatbot and you're interacting with that in text. Scout, as we'll see tonight, is a full digital character, one of the first of many. We plan to expand into Latino to have representation, because the Hispanic market's about 13% who have almost no representation in the sales software space. So yeah, just trying to reinvent the way that people can sell service online.
Wonderful. Wow. So I want to pivot over to your experience preparing for the pitch competition. But I'm going to take a little bit of a different approach than I have with the other pitchers, because you guys have all been through multiple of Trailheads programs, Boise Pitch Night, Tree City Trailblazers, Boise Entrepreneur Week, even some of you. Tell us a little bit about what this experience has been like. What's the path for each of you been leading up to this moment where you're pitching for $50,000 in cash tonight?
Yeah, so for me, it's been an interesting, pitching is way harder than you think. And to say something impactful in as few words as possible is incredibly challenging, especially when you're passionate about what you're doing. 7 minutes evaporates into thin air. So, I mean, my journey has come from not finishing in year one to now being here in the finals. So I have a ton of respect for people that do it, and it's incredibly challenging. You see people go up there and you think, how hard could it be to cover 8 slides? And it's honestly tremendous, and you have to be as compelling as possible in the shortest amount of time. So it's not that you don't have plenty to say, it's how do you say the least amount possible, which for me has been tough, I know, for everybody. But
when you're building these companies, it is your life. You wake up and you eat, sleep, and breathe what you're building.
And you're so close to the product that it's sometimes, depending on, and we were talking about this before, depending on what part of the funnel you're in, that's what you're obsessed with that month to 2 to 3 months. So it's really hard to zoom out and have a composite of the other 8 sections that make up the company.
Yeah.
So that's what I think is interesting, and you really have to take time to just hit the reps, buy a stopwatch, have it up, watch your time. That's what I ended up having to do for sure.
Well, we're rooting for you tonight. Good luck.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks, guys.
Totally agree that it is really hard, and I'm saying this as I literally just got off a mountain bike ride, so my mind is in a different spot. But it's really hard to concisely talk about exactly what you're doing. And I think in particular, one of the things that Oliver and I have struggled with is we're both engineers. We have a very technical background, and we really know exactly the problem we're solving. But most people are not engineers. No. And we've actually had people say, like, okay, you said your product is for engineers, like my eyes glazed over, I'm out. It's like, okay, well. So like, how do we concisely say what we're doing in a compelling way that isn't super technical and anyone can understand? And we're still figuring it out, right? Like we iterate on it, we refine with every pitch as we get feedback. And that's really, we spend so many hours practicing, but like that's really what we do, is we iterate and we refine the message so that anyone, not just engineers, not just our customers and the people we work with, can understand what we're doing.
Yeah, well said. And plus, when you're practicing and you do refine, it's like you don't want to have to revert to like older saved files, because you'll start to say something naturally, and then depending on how many weeks ago that you iterated and changed, you'll accidentally go back to the original save file.
Yeah, I could imagine both of you probably just have hundreds of pitch deck iterations at this point. I've seen those folders, and they're always impressive, but it's kind of a story, Like I know that all 3 of you have come through multiple different pitch competitions. You've had moments of success and victory. You've had moments of crashing and burning. It just comes with it, and it's part of the entrepreneurial journey. And I've seen you guys really lean into that. So I'm super excited to see how your pitches have culminated for tonight's competition. And on that note, I think just to close us out, I'd love to know what winning that $50,000 cash prize would mean for your business.
That's a great question.
Do you want to go first, or should I?
Sure, yeah. Yeah, so the impact for us for sure is going to be able to keep a large portion of our business in Boise. So what we intend to do with the prize money, if we win, is build out our complete end-to-end render system. So instead of having to source overseas in order to render frames and to build the animation track, we're able to build that in Boise and keep the jobs in Boise, which I think is part of the spirit of Boise Entrepreneur Week.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, kind of similar to that, our team is all based in Boise, so all of our software work happens here. And what the 50,000 will help us do is build V2 of our product, which is already in the works. It's already being tinkered with on the early stages, but we're seeing really great adoption and getting awesome feedback from engineers. And it's really going to let us build the next generation of our tool and really put us way ahead of anyone else, like any of our competitors, which like is cool, but it's going to help us build the best product for engineers, which is really what we care about.
And that's a good use of money.
Yeah,
absolutely. Well, fellas, good luck tonight. I can't wait to see what you pitch on stage. We'll be rooting for you. For all of our live stream viewers, thank you for tuning in to BEW Live. We'll be right back. We've got an awesome conversation with Bobby Joe from the Boise Chamber and our CEO and Executive Director at Trailhead, Tiam Rastegar. We'll be right back, but first, a word from our sponsors.
Vinyl cares about Idaho and its people. A huge portion of our team and founding partners grew up here, live here, we're from here. And by investing in our community, it's also a great way for us to stay sharp. Our team gets to practice the principles of being of service within our ecosystem, which reinforces the mindset that's also required to deliver great software. A big part of Vinyl's ethos is investing in the communities that we live, work, and play. That's why Vinyl believes in supporting these kinds of places. It's really exciting to see our CEO, Ian Harris, be on the board at Trailhead. It's exciting to be a part of Trailhead programs like Boise Entrepreneur Week. We really believe that this is the way that you help all boats rise within your community.
We could not do it without the industry partners that we have in the Treasure Valley. And what better way for these STEM companies to help than to donate their time and resources to help cultivate amazing events like these.
In order for Trailhead to achieve its mission, we rely on private partnerships. Sometimes those partnerships come in the forms of a check. Other times those partnerships come in the form of an in-kind contribution or help. I particularly love Vinyl because they do both. They write us a check and then they roll up their sleeves and help us get the job done. There's no doubt in my mind that our innovation ecosystem in Idaho is stronger because we can count on Vinyl and its support.
The Boise office of Perkins Coie is one of our smaller offices by size, but definitely not one of the smaller ones by heart and passion. I love our team, I love our culture in the office. We have a great camaraderie. There's a spirit of collaboration and congeniality here. We have a lot of the key practice groups represented here. We've got litigation, business of course, environmental, intellectual property, and that creates kind of a keystone to being able to reach out to the support in the rest of the firm. So, if a client is working with the folks in the Boise office, they're not just working with the Boise office, they're working with the whole firm. Boise is exploding right now. Folks come in on a regular basis that are interested in opportunities to either invest in companies or invest in the community and be a part of it. We do this in furtherance of the bigger mission, which is making the community a better business environment and a better community for everyone.
Boise Entrepreneur Week, welcome back to our live stream. I am really excited with my guest. I want to introduce you to one of our leaders in the community. Her name is Bobby Jo Muehlman. She's the CEO of the Boise Metro Chamber. Welcome to the live stream.
Thank you, Tiam.
It is so good to have you here. I cannot help but start with the gala that you just hosted, where you highlighted Trailhead and we received some proceeds from your fundraising efforts. All to say, I want to check in with you. How did the gala go? Are you happy with the outcome? And tell us a bit about the format.
Yeah, no, we were really pleased with this year's gala. We had over 900 in attendance, so that's a pretty big gala for us, and it was really fun getting to highlight Trailhead. Kind of a new theme we've taken on these past years at the Chamber with the gala is highlighting something in the community and really kind of the business perspective of it, you know, why it matters to the community and advocating for it and highlighting it. So this year we got to, as you know, highlight Trailhead and partner with you all. And so the night had a lot of lots of moving pieces, but came together very nicely. So we kicked off the evening with a fireside chat with Faisal Shah, Jason Crawford, and Christy Sosserman to really talk about kind of the history of Trailhead, how far it's come, and really the importance about it. And then we got to hear directly from some of the startups that you guys have helped be successful, such as Love Every, Earth Beverage, Seleni Shoes, and then Idaho Barkery, which was really fun. And then we got to hear a pitch from some high school kids who are part of the RISE program that you all do at Trailhead, which was really cool. Heard a lot of great positive feedback on those kids. I mean, most adults couldn't stand up on stage in front of 900 people and do that, let alone high school kids. So it was really neat, I think, to show, you know, what you guys are doing to help cultivate that innovative spirit in our youth. And then we rounded out the night with a performance from LED, a very innovative dance company in the community. So it was a really fun night, and heard a lot of good feedback. I think a lot of folks learned a lot about Trailhead and are pretty impressed with the cool things you guys have done and that we have a cool resource. I know I've already heard from some folks that were at the gala wanting to engage or how they can participate. So I think overall, I think we achieved our goal of the night.
Wonderful. I guess one last time, I just really want to express my gratitude. It was humbling. You know, as Trailhead, we don't typically get all this attention because the work that we do is for our founders, our business owners. And we share that with the Chamber. There's a symbiotic relationship. I touched on it during my speech. But in essence, Trailhead is in the business of creating the future members of the Chamber.
Right.
And I've noticed since you took over the Chamber and with your leadership, there have been changes at the Chamber. You spoke to the format, highlighting other organizations, which isn't very typical at a fundraiser for a nonprofit. And so the fact that you guys use your platform, your reach, and you put other organizations in front of your constituents is just priceless. So I'll say that one last time.
Thank you.
I'll probably say it again, but maybe not on live camera. So with that, help me understand a little bit more about the inner workings of the Chamber. So if I'm a member of the Chamber, for example, you know, what benefits do I get from my membership? What value do you guys provide? And then maybe also speak to those who aren't members yet and why they would join the Chamber.
Yeah, you know, I think being part of a chamber is you're part of something bigger than yourself, right? You're coming together to be part of something that represents a community. And so being part of the chamber, you're representing the business community for this valley. And within the chamber, you know, I think some things that are pretty unique is we have the tourism arm, Visit Boise, is part of the Boise Chamber, and then the business attraction arm, BEW, Boise Valley Economic Partnership, is part of the Boise Chamber. So I think we're pretty unique in that, right? We have the advocates, like the people that get people to come here, and then we have the arm that tries to get you to move here and create jobs. And then encompassing with the chambers, we're here to support you once you're here. We're here to work on issues and advocate for our businesses on what do they need? What do they need to be successful? Is it workforce? Is it housing? Is it transportation? Is it how can we bring people together like we did with Trailhead? How can we bring our members together to highlight something that's going on and build those partnerships? And so I think what we really do at the Chamber, and if you're a member, we can help advance your business. We can help advocate for your business. We can help bring people together that might not know about your business. You highlighted on advocacy. Advocacy is a really big part of what we do.
Tell me more about that.
Yeah.
I think it's part of the Chamber's work that doesn't get a lot of attention, but
For
it's
sure.
very important. Tell me about the advocacy
For
work.
sure. You know, we're constantly asking our members, what do you need to be successful? And, you know, we often focus on those things that impact all of our businesses, right? We are a chamber of, you know, we range from like 1,900 to 2,000 members, right? So that's a big membership base, very diverse in what they do, sizes, you name it. And so it's constantly pretty consistent from a workforce perspective, right? Like, what do you need to keep growing and being successful? And we hear often it's transportation, it's education, it's housing. And so we really focus on those pillars that help all businesses. And so, you know, if it's at the state level, the local level, or at the federal level, how can we be a voice for the businesses? We just did a couple weeks ago something new for the Chamber. We led a DC fly-in and took about 38 members back to Washington, D.C. to meet with our delegation and do some cool things back there, really too to show that we're a unified voice, right? We're the Boise Metro. We represent the Metro. As you know, you don't know where one city starts and stops anymore in the Valley. And so really partnering closely with our Treasure Valley partners, the Meridian Chamber was with us. We had the mayors of Boise, Meridian, Nampa, and Star came with us. And so those are some of the advocacy things too we're doing, is really partnering with our partners in the Treasure Valley to work on some of these issues. One of the things that really came to my attention when I took the chamber job 2 years ago today, which is
Congratulations.
Kind of funny. Yes, isn't
That's
that funny?
amazing. Yeah.
Was, you know, transportation is continuing to be an issue for us as we're growing,
So
right?
that is what you hear from your constituents.
I do. I hear a lot about transportation and housing. I'd say would probably be the top two things that are the biggest challenges that I hear about in the Valley. And so one of the things that we've done with some pretty active board members is we're going to be rolling out a transportation initiative that's going to live at the Chamber here later this fall to really bring our members together on how we can help, the private sector can help partner with the public sector
Okay.
to advance some of our transportation needs. This is an issue that's going to just continue to grow, and we need to continue to be good partners and work on it, so we can support the business community. And everyone's coming from all around the valley to come in and out to work, and how can we kind of help keep people moving? So very excited about that.
I love it. So a couple of key takeaways here. It sounds like the scope of the chamber is more than just Boise. So you're taking, call it a regional approach,
Yeah.
almost the Treasure Valley as a whole. And as I'm listening to you, and I'm a avid attendee of the leadership conference in
Yes.
Sun Valley, it sounds like what you're doing is you're listening to the pain points or growing pains of your members. And if I overlay that with the themes of the leadership conference,
Yeah.
it's one for one. There was education,
Yep.
talent and talent
Mhm.
retention. Any hint as to what topic might be next for the leadership conference?
Yeah, I mean, I think.
Is it a toss-up between a few?
No, we know what it is.
but
We
you
know
might
what
not
it
wanna
is.
share.
I can't let it roll yet. But
keep your eyes peeled for that.
I think it's something Trailhead will be very interested in. Let's say that.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. You've piqued my interest there.
Okay,
I
good.
think I'll attend. It's in April, right?
It's always in April. Yeah, it's a great event we do.
So, also understanding that the chamber has Visit Boise as well as, what was the other one?
BEW.
BEW, the Boise Valley Economic Partnership. So there's a three-pronged approach, and if I were to summarize it, so you attract, then you want to retain,
Yep.
and then you do some advocacy work.
And support, right? And another thing I should mention, obviously advocacy is a part of what we do at the chamber, but obviously we are a convener. We convene people to help build relationships. We have amazing leadership programs at the chamber. So we have Leadership Boise, which is probably one of the things a lot of people know the chamber about, is our Leadership Boise program, which is, you're aware, but it's your folks that are on a path to leadership, right, within an organization. And then for the younger generation, we have Boise Young Professionals, which is you're newer in the workforce, you really are wanting to, get to meet people, you're wanting to hone in on some skills, and so we have that program as well. And then we do Leadership Boise Academy, which is high school students.
Wow.
Which is a really cool program, and that's
didn't know
free
about
to
that
kids.
one.
Yeah, it's a really
Interesting.
neat program that we do.
So you get alongside your members essentially, and then you help them basically develop the talent that
Correct.
they have in-house. I've been a mentor at BYP and participate in Leadership Boise. What I've noticed is just a really cool opportunity for some of these, call them rising stars,
Right.
or maybe the rising stars of tomorrow, depending on whether it's the academy or not. And you bring them together, they get to work alongside one another, they get to network with companies
Right.
that otherwise they probably wouldn't
agree.
cross paths with. And what Trailhead did one year is we hosted a pitch competition.
Oh.
And I know it might get old, but we love pitch competitions. It's kind of what we do.
Yeah.
We love it when founders get on stage and duke it out. But that was a really neat experience for me to see how the chamber brought together youth, and then let's call them well-seasoned professionals.
Yeah.
And you mashed them up really
Yeah.
into this event that then culminated in a pitch competition.
That's one of the things I really just appreciate about my members is their willingness to give back and to be mentors. And when our leadership team puts together, the summits and the Leadership Boise and BYP events, a lot of my board members, a lot of high execs, a lot of CEOs go and participate in those panels because they really believe in giving back. They really believe in lifting up the youth of tomorrow. And I just think we have a really awesome business community in this valley that's very unique. And the time and commitment that they give to give back is truly something that should be commended.
Part of that uniqueness, the theme of your gala touched on it, innovation through collaboration. And as I thought about what I wanted to say on stage, having attended the leadership conference, one thing that really came to mind was I called collaboration Boise's superpower.
Yeah, for
Right?
sure.
We have a lot of good things going for us,
Mhm.
and you being sort of the conduit and sitting at
Mhm.
the cross-section of business and growth, you know better than I
Mhm.
that we rank top 10, we as a community rank top 10 in many different respects, but if I were to distill it down and what separates us, maybe call it a competitive advantage, is our willingness to
Yep.
help one another to succeed.
Mhm.
And so in essence, that's the job description of the chamber.
Right.
You're kind of sitting at that cross section of need, your members, and then advocacy is one part, talent development is another
Mhm.
part, attracting visitors, retaining them,
Yep.
and building business. So there's a lot going on at the chamber.
Right.
And if I were to ask you, sort of what your outlook is for our community. Maybe put half of your chamber hat on, but also just being a member of this community and living here. I know we just talked about how our kids go to the same school. We keep crossing paths in school hallways, which is cool. But what do you see maybe for the next 12, 24 months in terms of opportunities for our community and also maybe some challenges?
You know, I think this community we're really lucky because we have a lot going on, and we're going to continue, I think, to see growth and thrive. But with that, obviously, comes the challenges, right? Growth creates challenges. And so, whereas I think, you know, we're going to continue to see that growth, we also need to start addressing some of the challenges that come with growth, right? And so, you know, transportation and housing are going to continue to be some of those things. And so I think we have the right people at the table. We have the right group of folks that, you know, want to work together. I say this often, but we are so lucky in this valley too, on like a mayor level. They all want to work together. They all understand the importance of partnerships. And I talk a lot about partnerships, and I am the biggest advocate. Like, you are better together. And I think we're just in such a great spot to address some of these challenges and really continue to take advantage of the growth because everyone is willing to partner. So I'm positive for the future. You know, I often think about it a lot. I can't imagine, you know, have 2 boys. I can't imagine raising my kids anywhere else but here, right? Like, this area just has so much opportunity for everyone, and I really love that.
Bright outlook on the future. The silver lining there's many. I think we're blessed to have a chamber like yours because you touched on it. In other communities, mayors compete with one another. And you can go fast by yourself, but you'll go further together. You said together you're better. And so I think that's one part of the chamber's mission that, you know, I didn't get a lot of exposure to before I started attending your events, is how you unify the voice of the business community. You're basically the steward of the business community. And so if I am not a member currently of the chamber, and I'm considering it, I'm listening in right now, and something piqued my interest, how do I go about finding out more and becoming a member?
Yeah, well, thank you for that. And we would love anyone that's interested, feel free to just call the office and go on our website. You can fill out a form on our website or call the office or ping anyone on our staff, and we'd be happy to talk to you about it.
Wonderful. And just for our audience, what is the website so they can check that out?
Oh my geez, it's boisechamber.org, I believe.
Okay, Google it, you'll find out.
Yeah, if you Google it.
Hey, I really appreciate the time that you spent with us this morning. I know you guys had a crazy week, so did we.
Yeah.
And I heard your staff got the day off yesterday,
We did.
Is that right?
The day of the gala, I mean, we start first thing in the morning, bringing things in, and I mean, it's just a chaotic. And then I think we got everything loaded back in the chamber at like 11. And so I've just started.
What a night.
I closed the office the next day to just kind of let everyone have the day, recoup, refocus, and now we're all back at it today.
Good leadership on your part.
Thank you
for coming and spending time with us.
Yes, and thank you, and good luck with the week.
We'll need it.
Appreciate all you guys do.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
That's a wrap for our interview with Bobby Joe Muehlman. And thanks for watching BEW Live. We'll be right back, but before we return, a brief word from our sponsors.
I truly believe in abundance. There's enough for everyone plus extra. Everyone can win. At Alturas, we just believe that we can all win together. And we've done that internally, and we also believe externally. And collaboration and partnership is how we get there. Boise Entrepreneur Week, it's a representation, it's a manifestation of who we are as a community. It takes a lot of people doing their part, and we do our part. There's a lot of amazing things that have happened here, and we want to be a part of telling the story going forward and participating and supporting and building and doing our part. Having this whole ecosystem of companies, it's fun, it's unique, but it's also really helpful that we are there to learn things as we go and share our learnings with each other and commiserate when it's hard and dig in and help each other and get in the trenches when it's really tough, but also sharing the successes and sharing the great things that we're learning along the way. The long-term vision is that these experiments that we're trying today, we can actually learn something from them, and that they can keep compounding in size and scope and impact and opportunity.
In Time Tech is a global software services and solutions company with a brand promise of ROI or don't pay. Our goal is to help you accomplish your business objectives. Backed by a global team with expertise in, well, any technology you need. At the end of the day, In Time Tech is a platform for creating abundance. We just happen to build software.
Zions Bank is proud to support Boise Entrepreneur Week and the hardworking individuals who are pursuing their dreams of business ownership. As a market leader in small business lending, Zions Bank supports Idaho entrepreneurs as you create jobs and fuel our economy. Our experienced and dedicated team of Zions bankers is ready to help with your business banking, cash management, and personal banking needs. From Idaho's capital city to the rolling hills of the Palouse, and from the heart of the Magic Valley to our beloved resort towns, Zions Bank is invested in our communities because our communities are invested in Zions Bank.
Well, hi everyone. Welcome Boise Entrepreneur Week listeners and viewers. We're so excited to have you back for our final session here at Boise Entrepreneur Week. I'm Sean Keithley. I'm the Economic Development Director here at the City of Boise in the Mayor's Office. And it's absolutely my privilege to be joined by Robert Spenlove, economist with Zions Bank. And the two of us are just going to have a conversation right now about what's happening in Boise, how's it feeling, and what the future holds. So with that, Robert, great to be here with you.
It's great to be with you, Sean.
Yeah, likewise. How's Boise Entrepreneur Week gone for you so far?
It's been great. I love the vibe of Entrepreneurship Week. It's you feel the enthusiasm, you feel the excitement, and it's such a great event.
Yeah, totally feel the same way. I was at the Founders and Funders dinner last night. One of my favorite events here at Boise Entrepreneur Week, just because it's, to me, kind of encapsulates everything about our ecosystem here. I mean, you have a place where you're probably like one phone call or one, hey, can I chat with this friend of yours, introduction type of place where capital and ideas and people who make those ideas happen are just accessible. It's the kind of place that Boise is, and having that environment here I think is such an important part of our ecosystem. Trailhead's a huge part of that. Boise Entrepreneur Week sort of takes that and puts it on steroids for a week. So anyway, yeah, no, it's easy for me to be a cheerleader and supporter and advocate for Boise because that's a big part of my job. But I'd love to hear sort of your perspective too. And gosh, I'm not here to interview you, but I'm just really curious because you're out of Salt Lake much of the time. I know you spend a lot of time here in Boise. But what are some of the things that you notice here in Boise that make it special, coming from someone who's a little bit on the outside of our ecosystem full time anyway?
Yeah, and I think you kind of touch on it. I get asked this question all the time. What's the secret sauce of Idaho? What's the secret sauce of Boise? Why is the economy so strong relative to other areas? And I think you kind of touch on that. It's that feeling of enthusiasm, but it's also that access. It's that you can really feel that everyone's working together. Everyone's trying to help each other. It's not this dog eat dog. You can only get ahead if you take someone else down, and that is what makes entrepreneurs successful. Is working with each other, getting information from each other, interacting with each other, and there's really that strong sense in Boise.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you see that. That's something that I'm just really proud of as a Boisean. Something that I know is a big part of our calling card as a city and what puts us on the map for a lot of things, including entrepreneurship. That secret sauce is something that's really hard to replicate. But obviously there's something deeper too, and there are numbers behind that. There are like real reasons why this works, beyond just all the things that we know make it great. The culture that we have, all those things that we work so hard to keep intact and to put forth and make sure other people feel it. Beyond that too, there's got to be other things that help drive this economy. And so with your economist hat on, what are some of those sort of like those hard things that you see driving the economy and maybe that portend a good future for things here in Boise?
Yeah, so if you look at like the data, so it's really hard to represent the secret sauce with data because it's kind of, and this, it's intangible, right? Yeah. And so we try over and over again to try to quantify this, and you can't do it perfectly, but I'll give you a few things that are part of that secret sauce.
And we also don't want to divulge all the secrets.
I know, exactly. Don't tell anyone. No, hopefully no one's paying attention. demographics. We have a young population, younger than the national average. We have higher, so you call it natural increase, a higher birth rate than the national average. So that feeds into a strong education system, which then feeds into a strong workforce. So if you're a business looking to expand, you want that good workforce. You want that dynamic workforce. So that's helping. And then you've got, this is a little more intangible, but we all know it, quality of life. The quality of life is just so high in Boise relative to other areas. You know, we're not totally isolated in this. There's other nice areas around the country, but Boise is really unique where it has the amenities of a large city, but it has that quality of life, that access to amenities that you can't get in a lot of other cities. And so people want that. They want more of that, and they want to be part of it.
Yeah, so true. Yeah, you couldn't have said it better. I think that one of the things we have in Boise, obviously, is you've got a lot of things that are really close together in a relatively small area that just make it easy to access, easy to experience. People coming from other larger cities where those things aren't at your front door. I mean, looking out the windows here on some majestic foothills that are literally within, you know, a 5-minute drive or probably less than a 10-minute bike ride from right here in downtown. That's something that I don't even know if I can name a city where you can get that kind of access to the natural environment.
Yeah, and the walkability.
You know? Yeah, right.
I mean, that's a big deal. I spend a lot of time in a lot of cities, and a lot of cities are not walkable. Like, you have to drive to go anywhere. And Boise just has this cool factor. You know, you can go to bars and restaurants all over the place downtown, and people love that. And then a quick drive, you're out in the middle of nowhere in the mountains. Exactly.
Yeah. It's that feel you get in this vibrant downtown. And you know, I don't have to tell everyone listening here at Boise Entrepreneur Week for folks who are in Boise, but if you're not from Boise, this is something that is really special, I think, about our city that a lot of cities don't have. And you know, I think it directly impacts the success of our entrepreneurial ecosystem.
Yeah. Let me ask you a question. I mean, you're at the city, you've been with the city for a long time, you're in economic development. Mm-hmm. How do you build on that and drive that? How much of that was organic versus kind of designed?
Yeah.
Do you design a walkable area? I know you can design walkability, but do you design this secret sauce, or how do you encourage it?
I think there's a lot that's gone into it, and obviously, like, credit that goes back generations, and just many hands touch this, right? But from my perspective, you know, what it takes is a lot of the basic things right. You know, you want to create a place where people want to be downtown. We've worked very intentionally to do that as a city. We've had leadership that has helped to make that happen. Again, very intentionally, both in the public sector and the private sector. And where those two meet is often where that secret sauce is, because if you don't have the support of the public sector to make things happen, and you don't have a willing private sector willing to invest in the places that they care about, like downtown Boise and some of the great foothills and parks and you know, all the things, the pathways that connect them, then it just doesn't happen. So it takes that care and investment in the community from pretty much everyone, right? But you know, I'll give a couple examples. If you think about like where we are right now was created. I mean, you have the J.R. Simplot Company, you know, a company and a family, a person that had a great deal of care for Boise, and what that grew into was the place that we're sitting here right now in. This is this passion project, exactly, and you know, great place for community events. Mm-hmm. You go over a couple of blocks and you have the Grove Plaza, you have 8th Street. Those things were created out of things where there wasn't necessarily a lot there before. Urban renewal back in the 1960s. You know, without going deep into that, had an effect on Boise's downtown, and it was sort of a phoenix rising from the ashes sort of effect that came about because of civic leadership, because of a great deal of care from people in the community and from folks in the private sector that were willing to make investments to make that happen. And things like, you know, the sponsor, I should say, of title sponsor of this year's Boise Entrepreneur Week, the Capital City Development Corporation, which we've worked hand in hand with as a city, had a great deal of impact on the redevelopment of downtown. So it's really interesting to see those through lines come together and where you can see where these things connect. If you ever wonder why a city and redevelopment agency play a big part in supporting organizations like Trailhead and Boise Entrepreneur Week, well, you can see the things that come from that help to create the environment where these sorts of things thrive. So yeah, I would love to have our next BEW session last an hour and a half, and we could talk all about that.
I know, right?
Yeah.
So we only have a few more minutes. I'd like to. Economists are the dismal scientists, so we have to talk about the struggles. When I think about struggles with our local economy, one of the biggest ones is affordability, right? I mean, we're doing great. My theory is growth is always good. I'd rather have growth than the opposite.
Right.
But there are struggles with growth. Infrastructure, transportation, keeping up with that, keeping up with this kind of growth, and then also of affordability. And so we are seeing that. It's something that people are experiencing, and it's a tough adjustment. We're in a much higher interest rate environment. Housing prices are higher, cost of living is higher. So I can describe what's happening. What do we do about it?
Yeah, well, one thing that I'm inspired by, and if you were all watching the last session with Bobby Jo Muehleman from the Boise City Chamber speaking with Tiam Rastegar, you heard her talk a little bit about how the business community is so invested in working to help tackle these problems alongside the public entities like the city of Boise and others. So Bobby Jo mentioned that starting this fall, the Chamber is going to be kicking off a pretty significant transportation initiative. Keep Idaho Moving, I believe, is what the name of it is. And that's led by the business community and some of our key leaders here that care deeply about seeing this region grow in a way that is able to accommodate what those future challenges will be without having to get there 20 years from now and wish that we had done something about it. So I think that's, again, something that's pretty unique about Boise is how closely the business community and public sector priorities are connected, and you get the right leadership in there to tackle those problems. It's really tough to make things not happen because of the way that collaboration facilitates those things happening.
Yeah.
Housing, you mentioned that too. That's another big one. Speaking on behalf of our mayor, that is probably the number one priority for our city leadership right now, is understanding how we can create a city that continues to be able to grow and provide options for housing for all income levels. That's a challenge, but we're getting there, and we're doing that through programs like the city's land trust. We have some significant partnerships with folks in the development community who have allowed those things to happen. And we're working with a community foundation to create a housing investment fund that funds wraparound services for those at the lowest end of the income spectrum to make sure that they can have a place, that they can have a home in Boise and continue to grow here and do that with their families over time. So, it's an all-hands effort, and it's something that I think I'm very proud of to see Boise be able to do and be able to pull off.
Yeah, and again, one of the unique things about Boise relative to other big cities in the country. So this is not just a Boise phenomenon or an Idaho phenomenon. We're seeing affordability issues around the country. And we're seeing a housing shortage around the country. There's a shortage of around 5 million housing units nationwide. So this dynamic is being felt everywhere. But what's unique about Boise and what's unique about Idaho is we have the tools to be successful. We've got really strong employment. We've got great employers, that are really driving a lot of this growth. So we have the tools. Yes, we have the problem, but we have the tools to address this problem in a way that a lot of other areas are really envy.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm proud to say that it is truly an effort hand in hand with the business community that's helping us address things like housing and transportation that are really fundamental to keeping this great entrepreneurial ecosystem growing and accessible to the folks who want to be here and be able to help build this economy we have of the future.
Oh yeah.
Hey, that 15 minutes flew by really fast. And time flies when you're having fun. Really enjoyed this conversation, Robert. I would love to keep this going.
Let's
do
just
it
go
again
for another
next year.
hour or two.
Yeah, right. I see the producers giving us the wrap it up look. So with that in mind, really proud of this Boise Entrepreneur Week. I'd just like to say thank you to all the leaders out there that made this happen. The sponsors of Boise Entrepreneur Week couldn't do it without you. We've had a phenomenal group of volunteers help to make this a successful event as well. So with that, I'd like to thank you all for watching Boise Entrepreneur Week live. Make sure to catch the main pitch competition tonight here at 5:30 at Jump, and we'll look forward to seeing you there. There's a lot more to come. So with that, thank you all, and till next time.
This was about us trying to help this community, about us trying to bring everybody together.
I say that I'm too either stupid or stubborn to quit. So I would have kept going, but I would not have progressed at the rate that I am without the support of folks like you guys.
Go get help, because people love helping. People love mentoring. People love helping the communities grow.
But think about the compounding effect of not just money, but the compounding effect of effort. The compounding of what we're doing in this community to build and support each other to build things.
You know, we have such a vibrant sort of community here, but it's still very young. I mean, a lot of first-time founders, a lot of folks really kind of taking their first up at bat, trying to be a startup founder.
We're all learning and kind of pivoting together.
They're so approachable. They're willing to take the meeting, they're willing to take the coffee, they're willing to just be helpful.
It was a labor of love for this community that has reaped huge benefits. And that is why I think I am so excited and enthused about what is happening here. And every year I get more and more excited because I think it's getting bigger and bigger.
Zions Bank is proud to support Boise Entrepreneur Week and the hardworking individuals who are pursuing their dreams of business ownership. As a market leader in small business lending, Zions Bank supports Idaho entrepreneurs as you create jobs and fuel our economy. Our experienced and dedicated team of Zions bankers is ready to help with your business banking, cash management, and personal banking needs. From Idaho's capital city to the rolling hills of the Palouse, and from the heart of the Magic Valley to our beloved resort towns, Zions Bank is invested in our communities because our communities are invested in Zions Bank.
My name is Sharon Popple, and I'm the CEO of Executive Allies. So when most people think about accountants, they're thinking about the pocket protectors, the green visors. We keep our green visors hidden. We like to wear fun socks instead. And what that means is we like to bring a little bit of levity to the conversations that can be tougher, and to make sure that we're seeing the owners and the people that we work with as human. I would say one of the benefits of bringing on a company like Executive Allies that acts as a fractional accounting department is that we have a whole team that has a range of experience. We've got bookkeepers, we've got staff level accountants, we have controllers, and we have CFOs. The majority of time when people reach out to us, they're not coming to us with clean books. And they're not alone. You're not alone in your messy accounting, and you're not alone in not understanding how things should look. That's where we come in. And so when you hire a team like ours, we have not only the experience of an individual on our team, but also the entire team's knowledge of working with over 40 companies over the last year. We've seen tech stacks that work for different types of industries. And so we have a really broad range of skill set that can come and serve turnkey into any business. Whether you're a startup business or an established business that's been around for years, we're here to help.
Well, I think it's important for an entrepreneur to establish a relationship with a law firm early, because the more we understand about what your business is and what your challenges are, the better I can advise you. Our attorneys live, work, and play here in Idaho. We understand what is going on in our clients' lives beyond their legal needs, so that gives us an advantage in that we understand Idahoans and folks in the Mountain West.
Because of the relationship I built with Parsons, I know that when I have pressing legal matters, I can get a timely response from my attorney, which allows me to make good business decisions.
Part of what sets us apart too is our ability to be flexible and grow with the clients. As the clients grow, we can handle small matters, your initial matters, and then as you get bigger, we have the staff right here to handle your complex and big matters.
Whether you're a startup or an entrepreneur or an established business, Parsons has the breadth of experience to handle whatever your legal needs might be.